And so, welcome to another episode of the Career Support Network. My number one goal is to inspire and to help as many career professionals as I possibly can live the life and career of their dreams. And so, today I have with me Lorri Brown. So, tell me, Lorri, how did you get started with your business?
Well, I got started with my business many years ago as a martial artist and started teaching, and we had a dojang for quite a few years. And then I came down with rheumatoid arthritis. And when I came down with the rheumatoid arthritis, I decided I better put myself back in college, because I didn't know how long I would be able to physically do martial arts. So I went back to college, raising my three children, and I received my MBA. I'm making the story short. It took a lot longer, but I received my MBA. And then I started working for IQPC, and we did events for Chief Human Resource Officers throughout the United States at five-star resorts. So we would bring in presentations for them and educate them. And we would have vendors come, like ADP, people who would sell to the Chief Human Resource Officers from the enterprise level companies. And so I was doing that for the past 3 years, and just loving it and enjoying it and educating, executives from enterprise level companies. And then COVID hit in March. So when that happened, I didn't have a job anymore, because of course we couldn't go to resorts and bring 75 chief human resource officers from throughout the country to the resort. So that ended that job. We started to do some digital work with that, but didn't really pick up, and the price point wasn't there for the digital work. So I was laid off. And so I found myself back to my roots, I guess you would say, and I had to do something. I was unemployed. So I decided to start teaching online. And so I started out with Princeton Review, and I teach college level essay writing to college students. I tutor on Princeton Review. So I started doing that. And then I heard about OutSchool. And so I looked into that. And if you don't know, OutSchool is a platform, and there's all different types of classes on there for your children, ages 3 to 18. Science, math, language arts. So I decided to put a Taekwondo class on OutSchool, and then I put a kickboxing class on OutSchool, and then I put a class called Conquering the 5-Paragraph Essay on OutSchool. So I just started building my business from that point and marketing myself to the community. And then I also came across a community center here in Tampa in Seminole Heights called TROG. And so I work there once a week, and I teach Tiny Tigers, that's 3 and 4-year-olds, and Taekwondo students at the community center. It's in an area of town, it's an underprivileged area of town, and it's students who otherwise wouldn't be able to take Taekwondo classes. And they're extremely inexpensive for them to take there. It's $5 a class, no contract or anything, very, very inexpensive and affordable for them. So I'm doing that on Monday nights. So all of a sudden, I just found myself back into martial arts from where I started, and building a business around it.
Awesome. And so, what do you feel is like the top things when it comes to martial arts? We know about discipline and things like that. What are some of the things that you feel like the students should know about joining martial arts? That is not just about, but it's also about self-defense and things like that. But what are some of the things that would attract people to join martial arts?
Well, I think what attracts people to join and what they stay for are two different things. I think a lot of times what attracts people is the self-defense, and also the exercise and staying in shape, and it keeps you physically fit. There's no doubt about that. But then I think along the way, as they start taking the class, maybe for those two reasons, then they start to see that they're also learning focus. You can't break a board unless you can focus.
Right.
So you really learn how to focus. And then they also would learn how to set goals. And Taekwondo and any martial art is very self-set. It's yourself. You're not competing against anybody. So you're setting your own goals. You start out as a white belt, and the first thing you do is you set your goal to be a yellow belt. And then once you achieve your yellow belt, you set your goal to be an orange belt, to be, go up the ladder in the belts. And so you're setting your own goals, and then you're accomplishing those goals. And for students of all ages, once you get that mindset, I can set a goal, I can accomplish the goal, I can set the next goal. You're just building that ladder. So I think it really, really helps people be able to set their goals and achieve their goals, and see that if they do it in smaller steps. I just saw a meme not too long ago, and it was a ladder, and it had real tiny steps all the way up the ladder. And then there was another ladder with huge steps all the way up the ladder. And then there was a person next to it. And it's like, you can never climb that ladder if there's huge steps in between. So you really need to be able to set your goals so that you can climb up and achieve and climb and achieve and climb, and then maybe slip down and then achieve and climb.
So what I love about is that achieving those goals, it can be applied to anything that they do.
Exactly.
Whether they're going to school, whether they have issues with friends, or things like that. And so, what are some of the things that you did that help you make a successful transition from being unemployed to actually owning a business?
Well, I did it. I jumped in. I didn't let the fear stop me. And I learned that from Taekwondo. I ended up one time going to a tournament in Orlando, the Sunshine State Games. And I was a lower belt at the time. I wasn't a second degree black belt then. And I went to the tournament. I was very nervous. And I was going to spar there. And so when I got there, it's all separated by belt rank and age group and gender. So when I got there, female, my belt rank, my age, there wasn't anybody to spar. Nobody else showed up. So I won. And at first I was disappointed because I was like, well, I didn't get to fight anybody. I just won. But then through my thinking about it and reflecting on it, I started to realize that I won because I showed up. And sometimes that's all you have to do. And people get stuck on perfectionism. I'm not going to start a business until I have everything perfect. I'm not going to do this until everything's perfect. Sometimes if you just show up and do it, you're doing it. And I think that's what that tournament taught me. So I am the Florida State sparring champion for that age group and women.
All right. And so what are some of the mistakes as business owners? We had to make a lot of mistakes to get to where we are. What are some of the mistakes that you've made, and how did you overcome them?
I think some of the mistakes that I made, and maybe still am making, is accounting. I see the big picture. A lot of times the details escape me. And so it's very hard for me to keep my books. I know taxes. I've done my late husband's business taxes for years. I know what it's involved in it. I know what I can write off, what I can't write off, but I'm not good at keeping all those notes and all those details. So I think what I had to learn was to let some things go. And know, okay, I'm not good at accounting, therefore I need to bring in an accountant. So I guess delegating it and not thinking that I can do it all and that I have to do it all. And then also deciding where to put my time. Because if I'm trying to do the accounting end of it, and I'm a horrible accountant and it takes me a long time and I'm not happy doing it, I'm wasting a lot of my time that's very valuable that I could be doing my marketing, that I could be out in the community and talking about my business and do the part of the business that I'm capable of doing. So I guess that delegate and hire others. Okay.
I know one of the books that I keep on my desk, of course I don't have it right next to me right now, but it's the 4-Hour Work Week. And they talk about how to automate, delegate, and eliminate things in your business. Have you heard of that one?
Yes, I read that years and years ago, and it's funny that you mentioned it because it came across my Facebook feed the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember reading that years ago, and now that you mentioned it, I'm gonna have to pick it up again and reread it.
Yeah, it's very practical. I love that book because you can go right to the chapter that you need and just be done with whatever challenge you're having at that time. But what are some of the biggest myths, like when you got into business and you realized that it just was not true? It absolutely was not true that you needed to do something completely different. Like, for example, I know that when I first started, I thought that all I needed to do was post like quotes and things online on Facebook to get attention and grab clients and things like that. What are some of the things that you did and you realized that I need to do this completely different in order to get the results I need in my business?
Let me think. I guess one of the things that I had preconceived notions about was working an 8 to 5 workday,
Yeah.
which kind of goes back to the 4 hour workday. But, because I had been in the corporate world, even though I was traveling and putting in weekend time and stuff, I was still kind of in that mindset of like, okay, be in front of the computer at 8 o'clock and be done at 5 o'clock. And then all of a sudden I found myself, waking up and making myself a nice breakfast and working out before I got to my emails. And then I kind of, a little voice in me was saying, oh, that's not good. You have to be in front of your computer at 8 o'clock. But then I realized that at night, at 9 o'clock, I would have a great idea and I would start working on it for 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, I guess taking back my own time and realizing that I'm working on my business probably more than 40 hours a week, probably a lot more than 40 hours a week, but it doesn't have to be in those typical business times. And I think that the pandemic, I guess, kind of put that in perspective too, because we all kind of got, we're all at home all the time, and so back to the 4 hour week. And so maybe I can even cut it down my hours, read that book again. Is that the same author who wrote Blink?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard of Blink. What's Blink about?
Blink's about making a decision within 30 seconds.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to check that
Yeah.
one out.
Yeah, I think it might be the same author. So,
Oh, okay.
And it was like our gut instinct tells us the correct decision and within 30 seconds. But then our other part of our mind says, oh, I have to spend 4 hours researching this.
Right. I know I do use that concept first thing in the morning when it's time to get up. Either hit that snooze button or get out the bed. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to check that book out. I love a good book. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
And so do you have any so you talked about your what's going on with the taekwondo? How often are the classes and things like that? Are you running any specials right now for the students?
Yeah, I do a class Friday mornings. I just finished a class right now. And then I added some kickboxing classes that are going to be Tuesday afternoons. And my paragraph essay writing class, absolutely love that. I have all middle school boys in that class, and they're all really excited about writing. So I think that's fantastic because it's giving them all voice. And it's just not you typically see middle school boys, being excited about writing. So that's just been really awesome. And then, so I'm teaching that class. And then I just added 3 kickboxing classes to my schedule, and those are going to be ongoing. And it's a great holiday gift. In the beginning of the pandemic, I needed something to punch and kick. So I ordered a punching bag for myself from Amazon, just an inflatable punching bag. And I blew it up and moved my couch out of the way, and it's been really fun. So I thought, well, and it was only like $21, $23, something like that for the punching bag. And it stands, so you don't have to hook it up to your ceiling or anything. You just pull it out. So I thought, how fun would that be for each of the students to order their punching bag, have it in their house, and we could all do a kickboxing class together. So that's the class that I had just started. I'm really excited about that. I have one session that's starting next week, next Tuesday. And then I have 2 more sessions that are starting in January. And now I have some students that are signing up for that, and their parents are actually using it as a PE credit, because since I can teach virtual, I'm teaching students in New York City where their schools are closed down right now, teaching students in California, so all across the country, even internationally. But that's the class that I'm super excited about right now, is my kickboxing class. And if you mention this podcast, we'll give you a 20% discount on that class.
Oh, awesome. And so what's really great is that it's all online. And so I keep thinking pre-pandemic and everybody going to the dojo and things like that, but everything is online. This is awesome. And so how can people get in touch with you?
My email is lorrimbrown6@gmail.com.
Okay.
And then on OutSchool, if you go to outschool.com and you look up the instructors, it's instructor Lorri.
Okay. Okay.
And it's Lorri, so it's 2 R's. That would probably be the only thing. And if you just look for the kickboxing classes, now the Taekwondo that I teach is the Olympic style Taekwondo, and I am running that class on Friday mornings as well. So if your students can't get to kickboxing right now or can't get to the dojang to do Taekwondo, this is a great alternative for them. And in the class, we work on the belts that the students are trying for. Like I have one student in there who's going for their yellow belt, one student who's going for their purple belt. So we can do whatever their particular belt, what they're trying to achieve at the time. It's really individualized. It's nice. I never taught virtually before the pandemic, so
Yeah. So guys,
it's a new experience.
I am going to post all of Lorri's links up above or below this video so that you can get in touch with her. Now, Lorri, is there anything else that you would like for our audience to know?
I guess just for everybody to stay safe. I mean, it's been a long 8 months. I know it's been hard for everybody and exhausting, and we're not doing things the way we used to do things. But what I've found through my whole life and through Taekwondo and my careers is change happens. That it's always gonna happen, and you have to pivot. And I know that's kind of an overused term, but you have to keep moving forward. And I think when we look back on these years, like we're gonna be like, wow, we changed so much so fast. And I think it's so cool, some of the stuff that we changed. I never thought in a million years I would be teaching Taekwondo during a pandemic virtually.
Right.
Like if you told me that when I started Taekwondo 29 years ago, I'd be like, what? So I think it's just kind of go with the flow, keep positive, change, do the changes, make the changes, have fun with the changes. It's happening, nothing you can do about it.
Right.
But stay safe. Masks when you're out, common sense.
All right, there you have it, Lorri. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This was way too short. I feel like I had a ton of more questions that I wanted to ask you, but and so we're going to jump back on here again soon, if time allows, in the near future. And so thank you so much for joining me on this podcast here today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate talking to you and meeting you virtually.
All right.
Have a great day and weekend.
You too.